guys, just because this vehicle has a retro look doesn't mean it should be left behind in the past of your memory.
No.
Charlotte, what are we doing today?
Hey everyone, we'll start with that. Hey everyone, my name is Charlotte.
And I'm Gabby.
And this is the Kia Hyundai channel, and today we are taking a look at the 2025 Hyundai Ioniq 6. We almost said 5. 6 preferred long range with all-wheel drive with ultimate package.
Whew.
Man, that's a mouthful. That's a lot of words.
Maybe that's why people are forgetting about this car. They just can't remember the name.
Obviously.
All right, you guys, but today we're doing a full in-depth walkthrough of everything this vehicle has to offer, and hopefully you're jogging your memory. There's a lot, especially in the ultimate package, and we're here to break it down for you.
Absolutely. We're going to give you guys a full and complete walkthrough on what powers this vehicle, the exterior, the interior, the tech, the safety. You want to know about it, we're going to talk about it.
All right, we're also doing this live streamed, so this is happening real time, no script, no nothing.
One take wonders.
Us in the car. Let's go. All right, starting off with the exterior of this vehicle, the Ultimate Package does have some slight exterior refreshes, giving it a more premium look. Now, at its base, the vehicle does have a 77.4 kilowatt-hour lithium-ion polymer battery that provides this vehicle with 320 horsepower and 446 pound-feet of torque. Wow! This thing will put you back in your seat. You don't need to buy a sports car. You can buy a family electric vehicle and be plenty happy. Now, realistically, this vehicle is extremely efficient. It's actually our longest range EV in the Hyundai lineup as of now. And on its other trim levels, you can expect almost 600 kilometers of all-electric range rated. Now, this specific one is rated for 435 kilometers, and that is due to a couple factors that make the Ultimate Package special, but I'll talk about that later. Let's start off with the front end. So first thing I want to point out is the headlamps. This vehicle, like I said, has a very retro and funky look to it. I personally love it, and you'll see a lot more of it when we get to the rear end, but you see that pixelated element for your daytime running lights, those beautiful ambers. I think style like this, number one, it's functionality. Obviously these lights work, they're bright, they're good, but they also look really nice on this vehicle. It draws your eyes in, and every time I see an Ioniq 6 on the road, I do a double take. I love the look of this car. The main headlamp is going to be a full LED, and it is projection style. And if you look even closer, you actually see Ioniq 6 inside the headlamp. So little touches like that make me smile. You guys might not care for it, but we're still going to talk about it anyway.
Girl, where? I don't see it.
Right over there. Oh, it says full LED
I was gonna
on
say.
this one? This one says Ioniq 6.
Okay.
See, it tells a story.
Yeah. The story is it's a full LED.
There you go. All right, we also have front-facing parking sensors, so that's going to be scattered all throughout the front end of your front bumper, and that's going to be utilized for a couple different things. Number one, parking. When you get a little too close to something, the vehicle will beep inside the cabin to let you know. And you also have a forward-facing camera. Now that's right smack dab in the middle. Blink and you might miss it. But that forward-facing camera is going to give you live feedback whenever these sensors are triggered to show you just how much room or space you have from the car, wall, or whatever it is in front of you. You also have a full 360 view, and these functions start on the Ultimate, or I guess end, since this is the highest trim on the Ultimate Package. Great safety, especially if you are driving an EV. Chances are you might be parking in a garage or a lot of smaller spaces to charge it. Really nice to have that. For your radar sensor here, this rectangular bit, that's going to be utilized for even more tech and even more safety. So you have an advanced forward collision avoidance on this vehicle that works in junctions, picks up cyclists, pedestrians, you name it. This vehicle sees all the potential collisions and can avoid it for you. So it warns you first as a driver, but it does have the capability of applying automatic braking to avoid that collision. You also have Highway Drive Assist Level 2 on this car, so that will maintain your speed, make sure you're centered in your lane and you're at a safe distance from the car ahead of you, but it also does automated lane changes, and it's going to do that because of its side sensors. All right, let's show the side sensors. So that's going to be just in front of your wheels, and the wheels are also quite special on the Ultimate trim level. It's going to be the only model in the Ioniq 6 lineup with 20-inch alloys, and here is your side sensor. You also have a marker light. The wheels themselves, they look really good, and they are still Aeroblade, or I shouldn't say Aeroblade, but aerodynamic wheels. If you've looked at a lot of EVs, you may notice a common theme. They all have really weird wheels, and that's all thanks to aerodynamics. They want to make these vehicles have as little air resistance as possible and maximize airflow. Those wheels are going to do that. But this time, they do all that. They just look a whole lot better.
Definitely.
So these wheels look a lot more traditional, which I do like. They are 20-inch alloys, and this is going to be a big factor in why there is less range on this specific trim level. It's not as efficient as the 18s on the other trims. Now, 435 kilometers of range, you can still do a whole lot with that, and it will do better in warmer weather like we have today. In the winter, you can't expect a drop or a loss, but that's another video. I should pop the hood to show you guys what we got in the front compartment. In the meantime, Charlotte will give you some panoramic clips of this beautiful car.
So let's take a look up at the top too. From here, you can go and see that we do have rain sensing wipers. That is something that adds on to with the Ultimate package, which is really great to see. And you get a sneak peek at our sunroof up top as well.
Ooh, sunroof.
Sunroof, perfect for a day like today.
Yes, and this trim actually adds on the sunroof, so you're not going to get that on the models below. Hydraulic lift for your hood and a very, very small frunk. You may be disappointed, but let me tell you guys, the reason why the frunk is smaller on this vehicle is because there's also a front motor. On the lesser trims, you could get this vehicle with a rear-wheel drive configuration, and that'll actually give you a lot more range, but the front motor gives you all-wheel drive, which is, for some people, a must-have in Canada, or just a nice-to-have, and you do lose a little bit of space in the front area. But we got a good trunk, so let's take a look at that. Before we do that though, here are your side mirrors. They are power folding. You have a funky graphic for your turn signal indicator right over there when it's ambered. I think it looks really cool. Lots of checkered patterns like we see on the Ioniq 5. And a blind view monitor, which is only available on the Ultimate. On the flip side, you do have blind spot detection. So that little icon on your mirror will illuminate if there's a vehicle in your left or right blind spot to warn you, but the vehicle will also take corrective action inside the cabin to reduce or mitigate a collision with a blind spot occupant. For your handles, like most EVs, we do have flush door handles. They do pop out when the vehicle is unlocked, and you have a little cube pixel, I like to call it. Pretty funky. All right, for your windows, you do get glossy black pillars. I like it, and a very, very sleek silhouette. This car looks good. I feel like that's up for debate for a lot of people because it's so different from other vehicles in our lineup. Some people love it, some people hate it, but I'm such a fan. It looks a lot like an AMG or a Porsche 911 in my opinion, and that's probably why I do love it. But the taillights, the pixelation in them, and just the fact that we have the spoiler too. The spoiler does have an integrated high-mounted stop lamp as well, so in most vehicles you see it somewhere above the wind panel or the glass. Here we have it right placed there. I think it looks really good. These lights are obviously very bright thanks to the fact that they're LEDs, and there's a lot of them, so people are going to know when you're braking. Speaking of braking, regenerative style. This vehicle, because it is an EV, we do have regenerative braking, and you have 3 different preset levels, but we also get automatic regen braking, which is going to vary based off if you're on an incline or decline, also what's happening ahead of you traffic-wise. And you also do have one pedal driving, and it works great. You don't have to go through any screens to change it. It's all done with your paddle shifters. Let's take a look at the trunk. We'll also talk about charge time, and I'll open the charge door in a few just to say that. So for your trunk, because this is a sedan style vehicle, we do have a smaller opening, but there is a lot of room in the trunk area itself. You do have the option to fold down your seats, so you got 2 pull tabs for the left and right side, and a tire mobility kit. This vehicle does not have a spare tire like most EVs, but the mobility kit can get you back up and on the road very quickly. That's about it for the trunk. Let's open this. This is our charge door. So this vehicle is on our 400/800 volt platform, so you can do some DC fast charging with this car for sure. In 24 minutes, or I believe it's 18 minutes, you can go up to 80% charge if you are on a 350 kilowatt charger. Those are pretty hard to come by, but with 150 kilowatts, still a very quick charging time. Now, if you're doing this at home, chances are you have a level 2 charger, so a 240 volt, and that can take you to 100% in just under 7 hours. So I think it's 6 hours and 55 minutes, around there. So there's your charge door. Quite nice, and it is LED illuminated, so you can actually see what you're doing if you're plugging your car in at night.
Score.
Very nice. Illumination over there. Not exactly on the actual port, but that's okay. All right, no fuel door on this vehicle, just a charge door. It's rated at 2.3 liters equivalent per 100 kilometers. If you don't really know what that means, I won't bore you with the details in this video, but Charlotte and I are planning on doing a video dedicated to that in a few days or weeks. We'll do it one day.
We got a lot going on this week.
We do have a lot going on. Let's take a switch, and Charlotte will do the interior of this vehicle.
All right, let me close this up for you.
Charlotte, it's powered. What are you doing?
I know, it's a habit. It's a bad habit.
That was humbling. Okay, let's take a look on the interior. Now, guys, when it comes to taking a look at the interior, first of all, before we do so, if you haven't subscribed, please do so. Please like this video, and please leave a comment down below on what you think the exterior looks like. But also the driver's side door. There's not that much for me to yap on about when it comes to the driver's side door, but there are still a couple key features. This is the vehicle that probably has the most different setup, I'd say, where we don't see a lot of consistency with what else Hyundai has done across the board. But some of my key features that I want to point out on the driver's side door are, of course, going to be the fact that we have memory seats, and it's also going to save your mirror configuration as well to your user profile. You can also get a look at the ambient lighting that we have. This is really nice. It is a dual tone, and also you can see that we have a little bit of an ombre effect. So very cool to see. And down here, we have one of 8 of our Bose premium sound systems. So Bose speakers in this vehicle, which is really nice, especially in conjunction with that ambient lighting.
Charlotte, it looks like a couple things are missing. Did we forget about this car because Hyundai forgot about some of the controls?
No, don't worry. They're just in a different location, and we are going to show those. So let's actually take a look at our mirror controls. They're actually down here where we typically see your electronic parking brake and brightness adjuster. We're adding our mirrored controls as well. So you can see I just folded in my mirrors, and I'm letting them back out again. They are electronically controlled. You still have your electronic parking brake. You're also going to have traction control, the charge port door, your tailgate release, and still your brightness adjuster. But don't worry, there's still going to be more controls in the center of the vehicle, but we'll talk about those in a little bit. I do want to show the seats, of course. These are going to be a leatherette. They're a one-tone leatherette, and they're very soft. They're very comfortable, and the front 2 seats are going to be heated and ventilated. The front 2 seats are actually also going to be the same seat in the fact that we have 8-way power adjustable for both seats, and that is going to include 2-bay lumbar support. So comfortable for the driver, definitely comfortable and relaxing for the passenger.
Nice.
I'll have Gabby come around and we'll keep talking.
For sure. So again, quick specs, 77.4 kilowatt hour lithium-ion polymer battery, 435 kilometers of all-electric range, and that's exclusive to this vehicle. There are some of your amber lights, so you get your turn signal indicator, and then of course, right up front for your hazards or turn signals. And we'll work our way inside. Hello.
One thing I also like when it comes to the door, I'll just have Gabby show this, but it's going to double kind of as a handle and an armrest just above the speaker, and you can also use that for some storage space. So very nice to see.
Yeah.
Love
It's very
dual
sleek.
purpose. Very sleek. Lots of really bold lines on this vehicle. And again, as you look across the dash, you can see more of that ambient lighting stretching all the way across. Looks really good for sure.
But Charlotte, there's a couple things about this ambient lighting that makes it extra special.
Yes.
You know what it is?
It's dual tone.
and
Woo!
speed sensitive.
Oh, speed sensitive?
Yeah.
Do go on.
If you want a real light party, put this thing to the max. I'm joking. I'm
Pedal
joking.
to metal, top speed, let's go.
I'm joking.
Don't do that, guys.
All 320 horses. All right, I also just want to show the side sills because they are premium. Side sill, very nice. Some gloss, or I guess just metal finish for the Ioniq 6.
We're also going to see the premium metal pedals as well. I realized I didn't show those on the other side. So it's typical of a sport style pedal, but very nice to see.
But check
Small
this out,
details.
though. Plus for accelerator,
Minus.
minus. We're geeks, but we love that.
We love little things like that. All right, let's talk about the steering wheel. Leather wrapped, heated all the way around, 2-spoke design with integrated drive modes on the steering wheel itself. And this right here, this actually does illuminate. It's an H for Morse code. Once the vehicle is on, this does illuminate a nice little blue color. Very cool to see. I love little touches like that. On this side of the steering wheel, you're going to have your media controls, mode, virtual assistant, and this side is going to be your driving controls, so that highway drive assist, that cruise control, all of it accessible from right here. Then down below, I will show the drive modes. In this vehicle, you have 3 drive modes. You have Eco, Normal, and Sport. And actually, if you press and hold, you're going to get the option for one terrain mode, which is your snow mode. So this is like the one time that we get to see Canada and the US probably having the same thing with terrain modes. Woohoo!
Do you mind putting this vehicle fully on?
Yeah, of course.
Because we are in an EV, we can actually have this vehicle
We
on.
can run it today, and now
Yeah.
you can see that this has illuminated and come to life. Woohoo!
Now change the drive mode now. Ooh, it changes.
It gives you a fun little sequence, which I absolutely love. Look, even gave us red for sport. It doesn't stay at the color, but it does give it for a little bit, which is fun. Since it's on, I do want to show you guys a couple other things that kind of have to do with the steering wheel. We took a look at the mirrors to see that blind view monitoring. So here you can actually see the live feed that you'll see when you have the vehicle on, driving, and of course going to indicate a turn. Very awesome to see. I will also point out the fact that we have those paddle shifters, but they're not paddle shifters in that traditional sense. As Gabby mentioned, they're going to be used to control your regenerative braking. You can also enable iPedal from here and automatic regenerative braking. Other than that, I will say it is, from here. From here, you can see your charge and power band, and then also your speedometer in the center. And then if you want to cycle through the middle screen, you can see navigation. You can also see power distribution and tire pressure and safety features when they are enabled. So that's pretty standard.
I think it's worth noting this vehicle is rated at 435 kilometers and it's currently reading 522 available.
Wow, that's crazy.
With a 96% charge. So not
Definitely.
a full charge, but
Yeah, and a lot of
close.
that is going to come down to how you drive the vehicle too, but we won't get into that in today's video. But let us know if you want to see a dedicated video on that. Could be cool. When it comes to the screens, these are dual 12.3 inch, which gives me a good segue to actually go and talk about your infotainment screen right here. From here, you can see what battery percentage you're at. You're also going to have a dedicated EV panel button. So from here, you can see where your nearest charger is. You can see what the range will be with climate on versus without climate. And you can also do other things such as enable your vehicle to load, so your two-way charging settings in this vehicle, or bidirectional charging in this vehicle. You can also set charge time, set the max amount of DC charge, AC charge, and also schedule it to charge during off-peak hours. So lots that you can do from this vehicle. You'll also notice that we do have integrated navigation. From here, you can also control everything that has to do with climate and also your seating. So very nice to see. And for your phone projection, it is going to be a wired connection because it is this bigger screen. So you will need a cable if you want your Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. Of course, setup, and from in here, you're going to be able to access all of those safety features that Gabby mentioned. You're also going to have active sound design, which you can take a look from in here, which is always fun for EVs, but some people definitely think it's a gimmick. I think that it can be fun when used in the right setting, and you can set it to be a smaller change or a larger change. And basically, it's like artificial noise coming from the vehicle.
There's one tech function on this car that I think is really impressive.
Is it going to be the heads-up display?
It is.
Okay, perfect. That's where I was going next. All right, so we do have heads-up display that is exclusive to the Ultimate trim. And let me grab the camera to see if I can actually show it for you guys. Heads-up display, because it's right in front of me, I feel like it's that one thing that I always almost forget. So there you can see your heads-up display. It's got your speed limit on there and your speed that you're currently going, which is 0 kilometers an hour. Woohoo! Oh, Gabby, what are you doing over here?
I am going to show you the two-tone lighting.
Oh, are you going to make it pink?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to make it fuchsia.
Oh, fierce.
All right, so we got maybe like a red.
Oh, yeah.
Or a blue.
Ooh.
Check that out.
There's a blue. Very
Pretty
cute.
cool. Pretty cool. Sync with speed. Listen to voice recognition. So when you move this around, it moves with you. So when you talk to the voice recognition. Pretty cool.
Pretty cool. So very smart ambient lighting type situation here.
And here's the dual color. So you can set custom or just do a creative moment like we have suggested.
Like all of these videos.
This doesn't.
A creative moment.
So there's the green and then the blue or perhaps a
teal.
sea foam right up there.
Perhaps a sea foam.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
Or we could do Spider-Man spec and
Oh, I like Spider-Man spec.
oh, that's not very
That's pink
Spider-Man.
and purple. That's Gabby spec.
That's Gabi and Charlotte.
Yeah.
All right.
Also, hopefully that gave you guys a good look at how responsive the touchscreen is too. Down below, we do have a panel. This is going to be used for your climate control, and then also your controls, real buttons and dials, and tune switch. So of course you can do everything that these suggest, map, navigation. Obviously it's going to be navigation. Settings here is going to be for heated and ventilated seats, of course, fan speed, fan direction, front and rear defrost. And up here you can see that you have quick access to your rear view camera, and then which is going to give you your surround view monitor as well, and then also your parking sensors if you want to turn them off. Here's that surround view monitor in a different viewpoint, so it gives you that nice 3D like picture. Well, not 3D, it's like you're standing outside the vehicle. You guys know what I mean, right? Down below, a wireless phone charger, so again, great convenience feature to have, and a USB, which will be used for your connectivity. And look at all the detailing that we see in this compartment. It's more of that pixelated aspect, which I personally really like. Cup holders here. Lock, unlock, and your window controls, as well as auto hold. So from here, you can do child lock for your windows, and then also the front two windows are going to be one touch and pinch protected. A little bit odd that they're here, but I'm not mad at it. It's different, but it's not, doesn't mean it's bad.
Lots of EV discussion happening in the comments.
Center console is going to give you dual USB-Cs for charging, and then you also have a handy spot here, which I like to put my key. Something the Ultimate package also gives you is going to be Remote Smart Park Assist 2. So when the vehicle, you can actually
Watch
move
your
it.
finger. Sorry.
Thank you. You can actually move the vehicle forward or backwards from your key fob without sitting in it. Pretty cool. It may sound like a gimmick, but until you're in a tight parking space or you're parked right next to a giant puddle, you'll see when it comes in handy. Down below, we have lots of usable storage space, and again, that has to do with the configuration this vehicle is built on. Thank you. Don't do that. With the fact that it is an electric vehicle, and also the fact that we have our shifter moved to the column. So column mounted shift by wire, so tons of usable space. Tell me about that glove box though.
Glove box is here. It's
Cool.
illuminated LED
No way.
because we're fancy.
Yep. Let's talk about up top. We have a black cloth headliner. We already have that wide type sunroof that we already mentioned, which again just started on this trim, and we have an auto dimming rear view mirror. All right, should we go to the back seat?
Yeah, let's do it.
back seat. One of the benefits of an electric vehicle is the fact that you have a completely flat floor. Look at how much space you actually have back here, especially if you have short people driving like myself and Gabby. Now let's talk about some of the amenities that we do have back here. We have those same synthetic leather seats. The two main ones are going to be heated, and we have dual sets of lower latch anchors with rear tethers as well for car seats. Right here, you already know this is going to be one of my favorite features that we have. We have a rear vents for ventilation and heat to get good circulation in this vehicle with dual USB-Cs and a little convenience pocket down below. But blink and you might miss it. We actually have an interior vehicle to load port here, so you can actually power small devices from the interior of the cabin in this vehicle using just power from the high voltage battery. Very cool to see, very cool tech, and if you want a dedicated video on it, don't worry, we've already shot one for you. But let's talk about these seats and actually test them out. In the center, we do have an armrest with cup holders, so very comfortable. And these seats are going to give us that, that very sleek style with dual pockets behind them as well. But tons of space. I like how even on the door, you have another little area that could be, like this would be such a good spot to put your phone if you are back here and you're not using it. That way nothing is getting lost. But tons of space, tons of headroom. Love the flat floor. So comfortable.
All right.
Should we do some questions?
Yes, I think we've got a lot of discussions happening, so we've
Good
probably got a
discussions or
lot to
bad
talk
discussions?
about. All right, I'm just going to grab my iPad.
Set this up, guys. And if there's anything else that you'd like a view on, you'd think that I do this every day, and yet every day I get it wrong.
So a lot of comments about, it's more so, I guess, just
EV-based?
arguments.
Oh, okay.
No, well, no, I shouldn't say arguments, just opinions.
I don't know if this is going to stay.
Not exactly about this car, but as EVs as a whole, and Tesla was brought up a lot. Didn't get the chance to read everything, so let's kind of see where this all stemmed from.
Let me bring this down. Is this going to be a thing where I need to probably read on something too?
Maybe. We'll share.
Okay.
All right, so
Let's get caught up.
Let's start off on a positive note. Some comments about, so Ryan said, Story Hyundai, I'm not a big fan of this car. Ryan, elaborate. And Floyd asked if it's just the looks or the specs you weren't a fan of. I drove the EV6 GT for a bit and like the styling more. The EV6 GT is a really nice looking car.
It's very nice.
Like I said earlier, this car, because its style is so different, not everyone's going to love it.
Yeah.
It's very much easier to appreciate the style of an SUV that's kind of remained the same for a long time.
Something more traditional, something classic. Nobody really, no one likes change, let's be real.
Exactly.
But the same thing was met with the redesign of the Santa Fe as well. A lot of people love it, a lot of people don't hate it, and that's okay.
Floyd said, for Aero wheels, these are the best looking wheels I've seen in a while. I absolutely agree with you. I do like some of the new styles, especially like on the EV9, but I do know a lot of you guys hate them because they're very, very different than a traditional alloy.
I think it comes back to the design. Like these are a lot more of a traditional alloy design. So it's like what you were saying.
So the car is very untraditional looking, but the wheels, those are traditional. They had to throw something in there to kind of even it out. Does this have a smart liftgate? It does, and we will not demonstrate how to use it. Watch our most recent short for that. Ioniq 5 or Ioniq 6, which one is better? I personally like the styling of the 6 more. I like a sedan more.
I like the space of the Ioniq 5. I like the variation that you get, but I certainly am not mad at the Ioniq 6.
Why would you want an EV was a question.
Some people don't want to pay money at the pump. Some people like them. Some people like the instant torque. Some people just like how they feel. And
they do make a lot of sense for certain lifestyles. Not every lifestyle, and that's why it's great that there are still gas cars out there.
Yeah. So if it makes sense for you, get one, enjoy it. It's your money, spend it how you please. And if you don't like them, don't buy one.
He also said, difference is, many internal combustion cars, their engines don't fail in 10 years like batteries. Batteries cost more than engine replacement. So that is currently true now. Our first electric vehicle was the Kia Soul EV, and at the time that it recently came into play at our dealership, they were about, I think, $20,000 for a battery replacement, which is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
No one's paying, realistically, $20,000 to replace a battery. But now, I believe it's $3,000. That's a lot cheaper than some of our engines.
People need to understand that, like, as the more technology is and the more popular these vehicles get, it's going to bring, of course, the cost down for parts. We've seen this all the time when it comes to even just smaller parts. The same is going to be true for batteries, and people are also at the point where they can replace individual cells instead of doing the full unit. So I wouldn't let that be the thing holding you back, if I'm being completely honest. But again, like I said, if it's not for your lifestyle, don't do it.
Typically, I don't really see it right now. Sorry, there's a lot of comments to go through,
Yeah.
but I was gonna say, we often get a lot of Tesla fans in our comments saying, why wouldn't you just buy a Tesla? Not everyone wants to have the same car. There is a ton of Teslas out on the road, and obviously, if there's that much, it's for a good reason. It's good price, good tech, good charging network, you got it. But again, not everyone. It would be a really boring world if we all had the same car.
Definitely.
So why would someone pick this over a Tesla? Well, number one, I really appreciate, this is just tech-wise, the fact that we actually have some buttons on our vehicle. When I drove some of our dealership Teslas, I would get so frustrated, and I'm a fairly techie person, just doing minor things like adjusting my mirrors or even getting the mileage for a trade-in Tesla we got. I was pretty upset that I had to go through multiple screens just to find the odometer reading. So I don't know, it's little things. I think the ease of use, like Tesla is very simple in its interior, but overcomplicates some things.
Yeah.
And it just feels very gimmicky to me. I don't like the super minimalistic interior because like it just screams cheap to me.
That's what I was gonna say.
You know what I mean?
So we've done actually a couple Tesla videos. We've had them here at the dealership. We've driven them, and generally I like a lot of things that the brand does. I really like the drive of their vehicles. I don't love the fit and finish. I think that it is a little bit lackluster on the interior, but that of course is just my opinion. I love how their phone integration is really great. I love their charge network. Like I said, I love the way the vehicles drive, but the feel is not really for me.
Yeah. Doubt said, did they make a lot of these? I don't know what a lot is or their newer models, but I feel like you barely see them on the road. Yes, so the Ioniq 6 is definitely, that's why we titled this video The Forgotten Car.
Stop forgetting about it.
Hopefully
you won't anymore.
Yeah, it's not as much of a volume seller, something like the Ioniq 5 or even the Kona EV in the Hyundai lineup. But the Ioniq 6, it's special, it stands out, and I think that's what makes me like it more. It's not a car that you see that much, that often.
I think that it also doesn't necessarily look like an EV. Like, I think it does have some good characteristics, especially in the front, that make it look more like a traditional ICE, but...
2025 Tesla Model 3 works fine, no stick shift, stocks, etc. Thanks, Brantford ladies and gentlemen. Great Tuesday, October 22nd in LA.
Well, if you've got one and it's working fine for you, I'm very happy about that.
Yeah. I think they're good cars. It's just not, it wouldn't be my choice.
It's just personal preference.
Yeah. Okay. How does the Ioniq 6 feel to drive? This might be our last question because we are running up the time today. So it's been a while since I drove one of these. When Charlotte and I went to go pick it up from our Hyundai store, the first thing I said, well, I said a couple things. But the first thing I said once I actually put it in drive was, this thing feels like butter.
Yeah.
It is so smooth. And a lot of that is the fact that it's an EV. EVs are quiet. It's a new car, so you can expect everything to feel good, the braking, the acceleration. But another thing is that torque. Yes, it's instant, and yes, if you haven't driven an EV before, it might be a little overwhelming. You might push yourself in the back, but it is just so seamless. There is no build-up, nothing. It's just when you want the power, it gives you the power, and as long as you've got a gentle foot, it's not jerky, you know what I mean?
But with that too, is like you can also adjust your regenerative braking. You can use automatic regenerative braking if you're new to the EV world and just trying to figure out what is going to be the best feel for you driving. So my thing is, I feel like if people don't know how to use regenerative braking, like you're going to make yourself car sick.
Yeah, it feels like you're in a car with someone who's learning how to drive standard.
Yeah.
It's so jerky. But I think the way we've implemented ours and the fact that you can put it set to 0 makes that a lot easier.
And that's 0, if you're not familiar, it's going to give you that true like icy coasty feel.
Yeah, just rolls, just keeps rolling. All right,
on that note, Gabby and I have some different things going on this week.
Yes.
So you probably won't see us tomorrow, but make sure that you turn on your post notifications for YouTube. And if you want to know what we're up to, you can check us out on the social medias.
And sorry, one last thing I wanted to see. I just want to make sure I got it right. You can't use them up north. So if you're talking about the cold, I went to Iceland last year and I was shocked at how many electric vehicles I saw. People daily driving EVs, and it is cold up there. We also have EVs all winter long here in Brantford, and we do get snow. It does get to -degrees, and they work just fine. Woo. All right, that is all.
Bye.
Bye, you guys.